Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, May 5th, 2022 at 9 a.m. on the dot. And it's time for the Angelus and a song. Alexa, cancel. I'm going to sit down for the Angelus today. I could use it. Angelus Domini Nunciavit Mariae, et concepite Spiritus Sancto. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Ecce ancella Domini, fiat mihi secundum verbum tuum. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Et verbum caro factum est, et habitavit in nobis. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Ora pro nobis Sancta Dei Genitrix, ut digni officiamur promissionibus Christi. Oremus. Gratiam tuum quesibus Domini, mensibus nostris infunde, ut qui angelo nunciante Christi filii tui incarnationem coniovimus, per passionem eas et crucem, ad resurrectionis gloriam perdicamur, per undum Christum Dominum nostrum. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. So, happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Which I wrote up here is the, I call it the St. Patty's Day of the West. It isn't really, analogous to that, but in terms of alcohol consumption, often is. So, it's the, the St. Patty's Day of the West, really. So, there's that. There is the psalm. There's me, very stressed out right now, hating to be on camera when I feel like this. I mean, so I'm going to take a moment to kind of calm down and snow blow a little bit, what I call snow blowing, to make myself feel better, because I do have anxiety right now. It's something how our minds can do that to us, though, right? How the Lord can bring those feelings on, even when they're absent, even when there's no cause for them, For example, even though, as of right now, the only person I know that watches me on a regular basis is my mother, I had this feeling, or did before I started the Angelus, that everybody would be scrutinizing my pronunciation of Latin this morning. I'm like, you know that they're not, but you have the feeling, And sometimes it's better. Actually, always it's better. Those occasions where you have the grace to come out and do something like this and just get it out there and say, hey, there's the elephant in the room, the pink elephant in the room. So we did that. All right, now. Psalm 66. Cry out with joy to God, all the earth. O sing to the glory of his name, rendering glorious praise. Say to God, how tremendous your deeds. Because of the greatness of your strength, your enemies cringe before you. Before you, all the earth shall bow, shall sing to you, sing to your name. Come and see the works of God, tremendous deeds for the people. God turned the sea into dry land. They passed through the river dry-shod. O peoples, bless our... skip the line there. Let our joy then be in the Lord, who rules forever in power, whose eyes keep watch over nations. Let rebels not lift themselves up. O peoples, bless our God. Let the voice of God's praise resound, of the God who gave life to our souls and kept our feet from stumbling. For you, O God, have tested us. You have tried us as silver is tried. You led us, God, into the snare. You laid a heavy burden on our backs. You let foes ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water, but then you brought us relief. Burnt offering I bring to your house. To you I will pay my vows, the vows which my lips have uttered, which my mouth spoke in my distress. I will offer burnt offerings of fatlings with the smoke of burning rams. I will offer bullocks and goats. Come and hear, all who fear God. I will tell what God did for my soul. To God I cried aloud, with high praise ready on my tongue. If there had been evil in my heart, the Lord would not have listened. But truly God has listened, has heeded the voice of my prayer. Blessed be God who has not rejected my prayer, nor withheld his love from me. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and will be forever. Amen. Time for emergency. I need to get a towel for my face. Okay, emergency, lisinopril, 20 milligrams, and vitamin D3, 2,000 units. Oh, let me go rinse this out real quick. You know what? One at a time is the best way to do this, I've found. Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I have to write the psalm in there, though. Psalm 66. So I'm not going to run off right now, I don't think, because, you know, the Lord is kind of leading me to not run off right now. And although I have the urge to talk about a few things right now, just before I go to do it, the Lord is kind of diminishing my need to do that or desire to do that. So I'm just going to sit and wait and listen, you know? Sometimes such little things can cause great anxiety, you know, such trivial type things. For example, like, I'm aware of those days when brushing my teeth on video. If my hands are going to be a little bit more shaky, I'll put that paste on the brush like before the video, and I'm like, I wonder if anyone's noticed that, And it's exactly that kind of stuff that, well, those things will come to our minds, right? We can't help what presents itself, but we can help to some degree with God's grace what we indulge, right? Again, I just put it out there, boom. Let me see, what else is something that... There are definitely days where holding, the same goes for the logs. If I show logs during a video, and it's such a small matter, right? I mean, there's going to be people out there, I guess, that would, see my videos and be critical like that, because those kind of people are everywhere. But most people are not going to have that mindset, And it's important for me and to you, to the extent that you have these things come to your mind, as a drug addict, as a person, as a whatever. But of course, this is addiction ministry, so it's important that we ask for the grace to clear that excessive, harsh criticism of ourselves. That's unrealistic, too, I want to talk about something that let's do it. On the subject of unrealistic criticism, my father obviously knows, that I've been struggling with sobriety for all of my adult life. But in short, he also knows that he's never seen me doing so well in general. But unfortunately, he can't seem to say to me what I would say, having seen the things, the things that are present in my life, that are manifesting in my life, in someone else's. But what would I say to them? Would I be critical of, no, probably not. Honestly, probably not. Especially where it comes to drug addiction and drug addicts, okay? If I saw, honestly, somebody like, praying and reading from the Bible on video, I don't think I would, so long as I felt they were sincere, I don't think I'd have any other criticism, really, about, their commitment to trying to live right, to stay as sober as possible, and just to do the right thing in general, right? I would be focusing on that, because honestly, I don't, again, not to toot my own horn, but unfortunately, for looking, I've never met another drug addict like myself before. I'm sure they exist. There's more of me or like-minded people out there. And that's what this ministry is for. So my dad, maybe I should just keep it in general like that. But, well, no, let's go ahead and you see, yesterday I mentioned having to block my father, both parents, because, and this has happened before, because, if I could only put it into words, but in short, again, what I get from them is nothing like, as much as I love them, it's not normal or healthy. It's, yeah, it's unusual. It is, I don't understand it. I can't make sense of it. I am loving and compassionate, and I do everything I can, on my end. And of course, as we know, that doesn't do it in every situation, because people bring their own baggage to situations, and I don't know what that. Yeah. I'm glad that I didn't have the words right there, because there really are no words. It's a very strange situation. I talked about kicking Jesus in the balls the other day. I get kicked in the balls a lot by my parents at some of the most ironic times too, It seems like the more love I respond with, the more contempt or ridicule I get. Very rarely these days do I respond, because, once you know that that's all you're going to get, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, wait a minute. If I know everything from you that's contentious is going to be provocation, I can just be like, all right, don't engage that, For example, get back to what I was going to share. So yeah, I blocked my dad, but I didn't block him on the other number, and I did realize this while I was out yesterday, going to get the rent for next month, and I thought, well, all right, I'll get to it. It's not super important, because I'm not like writing them off forever or anything like that. I mean, I love them a lot. I'm really grieved by this whole, but for having to have blocked my parents in the first place, So he messaged me, of course, early this morning on the other number, and it came through, and I felt like answering. That's on the other phone. Okay. So at 3:18 a.m., just past 6 a.m. on the East Coast, he sends me this message that really, I don't know why I was in the mood to respond to it, because really, it's bullshit. Here it is. My wish for you is that you can stop the alcohol and drugs. You're a good person who deserves a better life. Seek help. I'm listening if you want to talk. Love, Dad. Now, seems totally innocuous, doesn't it? Okay, but it does imply that, number one, the person isn't doing all that they can, that the person is, as far as troubles or addiction goes, that it's more debilitating in my life than it is. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, my dad is seeing me doing better than ever. Everything is getting better and better, He's aware of that. That's not a time where you tell someone to go seek help, especially because he really couldn't answer. Honestly, if I asked him what help, which I didn't, he would have to hunt for a meaningful answer there, because it's not going to be rehab, it's not going to be AA, it's not going to be, I worked very, very hard at living program, you know, as far as in sobriety speak. So unfortunately, back up. And in this situation between us, I'm the only person that ever, and I mean, honestly, I think, geez, 1 or 2 times in the last year has he said something laudatory about me, praiseworthy, and very, very, mildly so at that. But that's what you would be saying in this situation, not detracting from the positive changes in your son's life, At least that's my take. And really, it's the only healthy take. If you really you want the truth on that, sure, you can have another opinion, but then there's like the right answer and then the wrong one. So, I mean, really, some things are like that, But anyway, so I didn't get combative. What I did is respond like this. I said, for my son or daughter, my wish for them would be that they grow into the full stature of Christ, i.e. the person God has intended them to be. It's the best we can ask of anyone, as it looks to God's will over our own in shaping who they become. It's not like, this is what I think is best for you. This is what I want to happen for you. This is what I think would be good. Okay. Obviously, my father does know that, we both think 100% sobriety without relapse is the goal. But I haven't been able to do that. So what? So obviously, that hasn't been God's intent for me. And the more we look at things with that attitude, the more empathetic we can be toward people, towards others. And of course, he knows this. Now, see, the reason I would explain something like that is to, he's already aware of that. But of course, it gives me breathing room because, when you remind people of stuff they're not supposed to do politely, they kind of sometimes can't do it anymore after you kind of just argued it away with iron solid reasoning, So anyway, I continued. Thank you. I love you. Honestly, what better help could I have? Meaning than what I'm doing, than God, than this program of spiritual discipline, prayer, just a God-conscious life. Passionately so. Now, I'll readily admit, for some people, that is not the best it can get. Some people don't seem to turn into, as Marcus Borg, the theologian, once said, that we've all met a couple of people that found God, and we wished they hadn't, because they became, But again, that is from our own perspective, right? We can only offer that opinion with how we feel about them around us. Obviously, what God has in mind for people, good or bad, is what wins out. So I said, thank you, I love you. Honestly, what better help could I have? When have you seen me doing better? You haven't. Plus, if you have somebody battling addiction, you don't want to imply that they're falling short of the mark. So it's not a good idea to create unrealistic expectations for them or moving goalposts. The interesting thing about this discussion is that, there are so few black and whites. Like, for example, that response is definitely pertinent to my situation in particular. What he knows and understands about me, and I about him as father and son, that statement is not a standalone statement, obviously. Because somebody could go, well, wait a minute, hold on. There are times we fall short of the mark, and yes, absolutely, no doubt about it. But situation appropriate. So anyway, though, I was in this next message. Lighthearted. It's very unusual, I know, but it's genuinely and sincerely the way I felt and feel. Lightheartedly, with a laughing, with an LOL and a smiley face, I told him that, I knew I should have blocked your other number, but I didn't get, I hadn't gotten to it yet. I knew that you would eventually message me there. Anyway, so how he responded is, again, I don't know why he would bother saying what he said, because it's ridiculous. He said, I didn't set an expectation. I stated my wish. There's no other purpose for that previous message than to point out me falling short of his expectation, but of course, conveniently not delineating what that is, other than staying sober, because if you don't do that, you're failing. So, first of all, it's a ridiculous thing to say. I would never split hairs like that in such a meaningless way. And it's not that I'm trying to put him down, but it frustrates me in the sense of like, wow, I know that we're not going to have any meaningful conversation if you're coming back to me with answers like that. So he said, I didn't set an expectation, I stated my wish. I don't believe in God or using him as an excuse. Well, that's already covered too, because all of the principles that are pertinent and relevant to this situation and just life in general apply in a sacred, secular, or in a religious or a secular context. If you don't want to think of it as God, well then, there are several other paradigms to conceive of things, to think of things. Philosophy's been around a long time in the Western tradition, so it's it's irrelevant, it's bullshit. So, he said, continues, I don't think I've said anything that requires you to block me. Yeah, I do. I think I just explained that. But, the point is to get me into a fight. This is how, honestly, you should not talk to your kid this way. Okay? If you're me, your parents should not be talking to you this way. Like I said, I wish there were several more of me on YouTube doing similar ministry, because it would be amazing. I'm not trying to call myself amazing, okay? Even though, obviously, I just did kind of indirectly, right? But I'm not calling attention to myself here. I'm calling attention to the miracle of this situation, to what's actually happening. Kind of perceiving it outside of myself as if it were happening to someone else. I would say the same thing. It's awesome. It's good. I've never seen anything like it, really. Because during relapse, or not contingent, what's the word I want? Workable in relapse, you know, that's not the best word, but it will have to do for now, is a plan that, like, I think most addicts should take into consideration, because if you're sober, okay, and you do these things and life goes like this, but if you relapse, the plan's out the window. You know, you don't try to do anything further with your life, with building anything, with prayer, with anything constructive, you know, until you get sober, you know. Ideally, right? I'd have to agree with that. But what if you find you can't stay sober as much as you would like? What do you do then? Then you need to pray for the grace to bring sobriety into your life, even when using. Who knows how much success you'll have with that? But it begins with an attempt, at least, you know, just of necessity. For me, it came from not wanting to forego the benefits of sobriety, quote unquote, okay, in life, simply because I could not achieve it over long periods of time. For example, I'm talking about small little life things that people do that you may hear about in AA, you know, people associate with sobriety and not with using, okay? Like gratitude, prayer, let's see what else. Activities like cooking or taking walks, exercising, which I am woefully, in my illness this past year, I'm woefully not doing, I guess. Just, yeah, I'm as sedentary as I've ever been, I think, this past year. But aside from that, you know, having the mindset of wanting to do these things, getting together with friends, or helping other people, or if you're here watching this and you're an addict, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure that you can dovetail on my list with a few of your own. So we're clear on that, right? Well, it's like, okay, at some point, or like going to the dentist, taking care of your teeth, you know? Here's another one. I was not satisfied. Unfortunately, try as I might, I didn't want to accept, at least not without a fight, losing all that would come in those areas of my life with sobriety. Because I like to cook. I like to live the way I am living right now, and I'm going to do it provided the grace of God, sober or high or whatever. Because it's good. It makes me happy. It makes me fulfilled. It makes me respond to my dad with love. You know? How many people do you, honestly, I'm not saying I'm high right now, but if I were like completely batshit insane high right now, right? How many people do you know would be telling you this and practicing it? Okay? About loving their parents, about responding that way. Trust me, I know how I've done a few of those myself. How that text message would normally be responded to, narrating it to somebody else. And it is not like that. It is not like that. Like I said, I'm amazed by this grace myself. So that right there, Dad, as I know that you already know, is reason enough not to come back at me with a response that tries to split hairs between an expectation and a wish. You know? The old me would have said, shame yourself out of it. Know that you can't respond to somebody like that. You can't like send someone a message and if someone else sees it, they'll know that you said that, you know? But I don't say that anymore because I know that God directs and animates us all. Jesus understood this. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Your addict son, Dad, understands it. Being compelled, still at 43 years old, to do something that for years I've been trying to minimize. You know? I want people to feel comfortable around me. One of the goals of my life, of my ministry, because I've dealt with a lot of this in my personal life, as far as like people not responding to me kind of the way that I would respond to, or respond in kind in a similar situation, and it's had the effect of kind of making me want to make sure that people don't feel like that in my company. Oftentimes I'll be truthful. It doesn't seem to matter a lot of times to people. A lot of times people they're already so jaded or bitter about, that your care and concern and kindness and attentiveness to other people's feelings, to wanting to make them feel at home around you, to not want to hone their weaknesses, put them in a bad mood, make them feel bad, bring them down, because there are a lot of people like that, and after a while, people get kind of insulated to that, really. So a lot of times, my efforts really, hey. But it's still the right thing to do. It's the best way to approach things in general, situations in general. Approach ourselves, approach other people, approach everything with an attitude of love and of not wanting to bring harm. It's hard to do, I know, because it's easy to say when I feel like this, right? But there comes a time for pretty much all of us when we'll want to do something terrible and feel at that moment we've got good reason to do it. It's justified somehow. And that's where my dad is at. So I've just gotten used to my dad saying really unusually insensitive to, in a worst case scenario, incredibly cruel things to me. And it's just strange. It's still bizarre. I remember a man that did not treat me like that. We had a much warmer father-son. It wasn't perfect, but it was I miss it. You know? And I don't know why. And neither does he, honestly. So we wait on the Lord. Anyway, I'm going to end this video before it runs on too long. Thank the Lord for giving me the presence of mind and the words to at least to discuss what I did today, what I had to say. And I know it made sense for anyone listening, so that's cool. I started out sweating bullets when I turned the camera on, and I feel much better now. In fact, I didn't know it was going to be this good of a morning. I bought a Powerball ticket yesterday, just, because, as I found for personal experience, it took me a very long time to really realize this. But, a lot of times poor people in the shittiness of being poor financially, as far as financial mobility, tend to find look at lottery tickets and go, maybe, okay, an occasional, once a month or something like that, or whatever, honestly, I don't remember the last time I bought one, maybe 2 months ago, or maybe a month, I don't know. I have bought, the last one I bought more recently, on the heels of this one, so, because, hey, what's 5 or 10, might as well just throw it in, you never know. It's that feeling of, it's just it's kind of like, it's almost like drugs a little bit, in a way. Now that made me sound like an addictive gambler. This is going to go on for a minute, I guess it will. But no, I mean that, part of buying a lottery ticket is all that anticipation, however subtle, that's still there, simply because you bought the ticket, right? It's evidence of that. Until the drawing proves that you've lost, there's all that emotion that comes with the possibility of winning, the excitement. And it is kind of nice. But I'm glad, honestly, I'd rather be addicted to drugs than be addicted to gambling. And gambling is never really, as far as casino gambling, has never done anything for me, thank the Lord. Because that can get bad. If I lose too much money, I'm like, this is not fun, and you can lose money so fast in a casino, I don't see how people enjoy it. I don't win, and I've never won enough to make it a pleasurable experience for me in there. I'm just like, I want to go sit in a casino bar, actually just have a couple cocktails and watch TV or something like that, because yeah, wow. Maybe it's all about money management, but I would just rather not do, no. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening to me. I hope it's been not just for my own benefit, right, but because you found something at least supportive for yourself. I'm going to remind you, as I do at the end of every video, did I already do this? I don't even remember if I already said this and tried to sign off already. So, to brush your teeth, to floss, and to say your prayers. And I'll see you in the next video. I love you all. Happy Easter and peace.